Okay. Yeah, so the stream has started. I just want to let anyone know that I know no one has joined the stream yet because I just launched it. But anyone that's maybe watching this video, I'm just getting over the flu right now, so I may be coughing and blowing my nose. So just ignore that. It's been a while since I've played any chess or have done a lesson, so I couldn't wait any longer. Um, okay, yeah, Alessandro.
Okay. Well, I saw that you started off very well. You were 3.5 points
Yeah, can you believe my
to
rating went
four.
down even more? 1337
Yeah,
now. 1337. I'm almost in the 1200 zone.
yeah,
Ah,
that's odd because it was such a good start
yeah.
to tournament, and then yeah. Well, you you actually had to face. Well, I guess he was the favorite to win the tournament in the fifth round, and you actually did very well in that game. You got a very good position out of the opening. Then you kind of went astray, and he found
I was surprised. I
some.
did not see that queen, what was it? Queen h6. I did not see that coming. I didn't consider queen h6 at all. And I was surprised it worked. And then I blundered later on, which I think it was king e7.
Yeah,
Uh,
because it was still playable, but it
yeah.
was difficult to defend. But actually, objectively, you were not even worse. But well, the game changed its course there, and it was difficult to defend that position. Still, you were better for much of the game, so it wasn't that bad at all. And in the last game, you must have been a little bit disappointed, I guess, because you were
Exactly.
unrecognizable.
Even before the game started, I kind of almost gave up already because I had nothing to play for. I didn't have any rating to play for really. My rating's already so low, and even if I won the game, I'm not getting third place or anything. There was nothing for me to aim for. So I didn't like. I still tried, but you know what I mean, right? The motivation wasn't there, and it was
Yeah.
it was the
Either
last game.
way,
It was the last
yeah.
game
Either
too, and I'm
way,
I'm often very tired in the very last game.
for that not to happen to you, because it's different. It's different to end the game in the end the tournament with a win than with a loss. The whole picture changes very much. Uh, Maybe in order not to lose motivation in those kind of situations that are pretty common, because if you lose um, the round, the previous round to the last one, uh, then yeah, you always think, well, the tournament is done, I can't get anything out of it. Uh, but maybe you have to think in the long run, because those kind of performance after losing uh, that last game, just because of lack of motivation, actually cost a lot of rating points in the long run. Yeah, and in those kind of situations, maybe it's better to focus on, well, I'm going to finish the tournament just well as I can. And yeah, in the long run, it makes a difference, because actually your rating is kind of an average of all of your individual games. So I know you already weren't in the place you wanted to be. You weren't motivated, but yeah, it's something to keep in mind, because actually that's what your rating reflects, the fact that you can play consistently on some level. Um, and those dips in performances, yeah, they are harmful for your rating overall, even though it's obvious that that game doesn't reflect your actual level. um, but well, though, even those details count in your final numbers. So maybe that's a way of trying to keep yourself motivated even when things aren't going all right, which they will. I mean, it happens a lot. um, in a lot of tournaments, we go to the last round with not much in play, because well, we are already out of the chase. But well, we have to start with the first rounds here. Actually, in the first round, you dodged the bullet.
First round was at Colin Young. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was Queen's Pawn. I noticed that in all your games, you got very good positions out of the
I don't.
opening.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that because then things went wrong, right? But yeah, I think I did pretty well out of the opening in all of the games, except possibly not the last game. The last game was
Yeah.
very chaotic.
Yeah, you went out of your comfort zone
Yeah.
very quickly. Yeah. Um, but it wasn't also Indian, and this is a move Bishop D2 that you might get a lot in your games because your opponents might be worried about getting the double bounce on the c5. So it's kind of common that they try to avoid bishop takes and b takes c3. But bishop d2 has many drawbacks to it. It's not something that you can immediately punish. I mean, it's not such a bad move. And as we said before, White can get away with some moves like this and not be worried. But he's not putting any pressure on you, and that's the important thing. You reacted well. You just castled and then went for d5. Another way to approach this is a move that you actually like playing, c5.
But I don't like playing c5 in the Nimzo.
Oh,
Because I like ever since you
you're
taught me that whole
big fan.
idea of encouraging e5 and putting the knight. I actually prefer to put the knight on c5 if I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there are different situations where c5 or d5 work. In this case, c5 makes a lot of sense because the bishop on d2 is kind of in the way of the white's queen. I'm sorry. So he has to take a decision immediately in the center. And if he goes d takes c, then you're going to have problems at all because at the suitable moment you just retake on c5 and center is just gone. Again, he's not worse at all, but you're perfectly fine here, and White is not putting any pressure on you right out of the opening. Uh, but your response, actually, I'm sorry, but c5 is a pretty good move in every situation where he just leaves control of the d4 square. c5 tends to be a good move. For example, queen b3, which is another topical line here to take with a piece on c3 after it's changed. Then you can go c5, I'm sorry. Because you're hitting here on d4 and he has loosened up that square a bit. Still, bishop d2 castle is perfectly fine. g3, he's kind of mixing it now.
Yeah, I thought for a long time here. I was really I was really considering G6 or sorry B6.
b6.
I was I you know because I'm so used to have this type of setup in the Nimzo, and so I was considering maybe B6 knight C6, and just daring him, you know. But then
To play d5.
yeah, but then I changed my mind there because it didn't. It seemed a little bit too dangerous. I forget what I played instead.
Yeah, and kind of when
I think I played D5 after a long think here.
yeah, and it's perfectly sound. I like this d5 because he's getting an inferior version of a Catalan opening. In the Catalan, you don't want to put your bishop on d2 if you can avoid. And the knight doesn't go to c3 so early because after black takes on c4, you need to recover that pawn somehow. So queen c2 is the answer by white, and then he can retake on c4. But the knight on c3 is kind of way in the middle of your queen's path here, and the bishop on d2 doesn't have so much to do. So d5 kind of gives you a good position against an orthodox Catalan, I guess. It wasn't the only move. After he went for g3, I guess you can play c5 here again. The thematical move against c5 is d5, because white wants to win some space here. He has to part with his center. But then d5, that bishop at d2 again is not so well placed. I guess you can just take, rook e8. He's going to have some trouble unraveling here. It's sort of a Benoni with your bishop on b4. But it looks good for black. Either way, d5, and it's even consistent with your repertoire. I mean, if you play the Queen's Gambit decline, then going for this makes a lot of sense. You're getting a good Catalan. And he took on d5. How do you feel here?
Well, when I played d5, I was kind of thinking that this would be a possibility. Although I felt that white was going to play bishop g7, bishop g2 immediately before trading. I thought he might leave trading, keeping the tension for later. But I felt pretty good here. I know that later, I think he might play bishop g2 next move. After a fair bit of thought, I know that I played knight c6, and I looked at it with the engine later, and it doesn't quite like it. And I wasn't sure about it when I played it, because the knight is slightly awkward there. And I even was considering c6, which I think the computer does like, but it was just hard to play because, making a pawn move when we haven't, developed these pieces, it was hard for me to make that decision. I really felt that I needed to develop my pieces. But to answer your question, I felt pretty happy here overall. I thought that black was at least equal.
Yeah, you're right, because if we keep comparing this to the Catalan, white doesn't take on d5 because he wants to keep the tension, and he wants black to take on c4 for many reasons. The first reason is that he's going to put a bishop on the long white diagonal, so closing that diagonal isn't in white's plans at all. So c takes d fits in the center. Putting a wall in front of his square bishop on d5 doesn't make sense at all. Now it's difficult to think about where white is going to break. Then, okay, next he plays bg2. He doesn't have the firepower to open diagonal, and it's difficult to suggest how white is going to proceed here from here on. You're right about knight c6. You mentioned development, but there's a reason why the computer likes c6. It makes this bishop look so bad. The bishop on g2 is actually kind of useless here. He has no pressure over d5, and it's difficult to believe that white is actually going to get to break on e4. I mean, if we think about the possible breaks and how can white proceed here, then, e2, e4 is the only reasonable way for white to continue here, but it's not easy to prepare. You're going to put all your pieces towards that square. You're going to play rook e8, bishop f5. You have very good control over the light square. And the minute white plays e3 and f3, the pawn e3 is kind of weak. Playing for e4 is going to be very difficult for. It kind of happened in the game, though. But still, the pawn on c6 actually adds a lot of protection to d5, and he has no way of putting additional pressure over it. It This is kind of similar to the reason. Sorry, I'm going to go back a lot. This is similar to the reason why uh, we always tell to anyone who is starting to play the Queen's Gambit decline with white that you don't go knight c3 immediately because there's no real pressure over d4. You have to play the Queen's Gambit first with c4, so after e6. Now knight c3 puts a lot of pressure over d4. With a sole knight on d5, he can defend the pawn on d5 with e6, and you don't get to break here. I mean, yeah, you can break on e4 now, but it's even remotely similar to a Queen's Gambit. Or he can go knight f6, which is much more reasonable, and then e6. This is kind of the same. He's after you play c6, there's no way to put additional pressure on d5, and the bishop on g2 is not what white would expect from Catalan opening at all. And you're right, the knight on c6 is a little bit clumsy because I don't know what we're going to make of that knight. uh, Pawn on c6, you can project playing bishop f5, then knight b d7. Uh, for example, this has some other benefits. Say that he goes for some line like in the game. Now the other break is a3 followed by b4 and then even b4, like in the minority attack. But with the knight on d7, this is difficult because of knight b6 and then you can occupy the c4 square. So he doesn't even get to play a3 before. Yeah, it's difficult to suggest an active plan for white. And playing f3, knight f4, rook e1 again. Um, So yeah, that's the reason why the computer likes it so much. You just don't have to worry about the bound defy anymore. um, so it's just still okay, I guess. Position's very solid. Now bishop g4. Um, kind of bold. You're provoking him to put his pawns in motion.
Yeah, I know that it was. I'm provoking White to play f3. I just thought that if he does play f3, that I thought that e3 is going to become a target that I could attack. I thought it would. I'm creating a weakness, and I thought it was worth it.
Yeah, it's debatable. I don't think it's such a bad move. I mean, the computer might not like it, but it's not the final word in the opening either way. So yeah, I wouldn't tag it as a mistake. Actually, F3. Actually, computer doesn't even like F3, which is funny because it's the first thing we might think of with white here because well, that's his only source of counterplay. The computer likes h3 for some mysterious reason that doesn't become apparent. Bishop f5, castle, you play queen d7, which is fine. You have to connect the rook. Knight f4, well, now he seems to be aiming for, I don't know, something like rook e2, maybe e4 at some point, though it's very difficult to play e4 because the pawn on d4 is going to be hanging. Uh, Actually, he has another idea here. What do you think the other idea is?
I'm trying to remember. I talked to him after the game. We looked at the game together. Um, I don't recall him saying anything in this position.
Yeah. Well, he has to break somewhere where, um, but e4 is very difficult to get in. But what do you think about g4?
Oh, I think the computer might have liked, yeah, those pushing the pawns. I actually didn't really consider. that white would do that. I thought that although I mean I guess he's winning the minor exchange next move if he does play that.
Yeah, actually played rook e7, and he had the opportunity to play g4.
Uh,
I know it's kind of the opposite of everything we talked about, but that's just for you. uh, because he's moving the pawns in front of his king, and that's usually not advisable. Uh, but the thing is, he has a very powerful pawn mass at this point, and g4 is a good way of pushing all your pieces backwards. And he actually gets to do this because the center is so stable. You don't have the opportunity to just push c5 and blow the center open. That's another disadvantage of having that knight on c6 instead of having played c6. Um, Actually, with a fit center or a very stable center, pawn pushes on the sides of the board are more possible. And I'm not saying that they're always advisable, but now it looks like a general advance of pawns on the king side is not going to harm the position of the white king. You actually don't have any pieces on the king side to put any kind of strain on that king. And yeah, it can be a long-term commitment for white to push g4, h4, and stuff like that. But he's actually at this point winning a lot of space, and all the pieces are over the board, and you don't have a real way to put pressure over d4 or e3. So especially d4. And so he might actually get away with playing g4. This formation is actually kind of common in some lines of the mean, so especially when white goes knight g e2 with the bishop in d3 even. f3 e4 is a plan, but f3 knight f4 and g4 hoping to push the kingside pawns is another possibility, though it looks rather strange. Here the thing is that your pawn on d5 isn't so well defended, so g4 followed by g5 might give you a problem with your pawn on d5. You might have to play bishop takes c3 at some point, and here you played rook e7. Um, you were actually trying probably to just double up.
yeah, I was kind of without a plan at this point. Um, and I thought just doubling up the rooks. I was hesitant to make kind of pointless pawn moves if I didn't have a real purpose behind it. But yeah, I was really struggling to come up with a plan here.
Yeah, at this point, I guess it's difficult for both of you. Well, the suggestion of the h5, which seems funny, but well, g4 is not a possibility anymore, and h3 might just be too much. I don't know. Maybe you can even play g5 after h3, dropping some material. So after h5, it's also difficult to suggest anything for white. He doesn't have any kind of play in the center with d4. Maybe he can go for e1 or knight a4. I don't know. But yeah, this knight on c6 is not well placed. You might have to relocate it, something like
Yeah.
knight e7, maybe knight g6, and then place your desired c6. But yeah, h5 looks good, and it's not easy to suggest anything for white either. Rook e7, actually, did you see during the game this g4 at this point?
Um, I I might have. I can't remember specifically. I think I was just going to bring the bishop back, and he trades. I thought he might be a little bit overextended, possibly. I didn't think it'd be the end of the world if I had to play something like bishop e6.
Bishop c6. Bishop b6, I'm sorry.
Bishop
Yeah.
e6.
Oh, yeah, and after g4. G5.
No, that. Oh, yeah. I didn't. I didn't look at. Yeah, I didn't consider G5, which is so obvious.
Still, you can go to E8. I don't know. It might look fine. I get away with this. I don't know. You have to go back to E8. um, Looks strange, but
It's getting
might
kind of
be
scary though.
possible.
H4. This really reminds me of a Sicilian. Um,
Yeah.
because this is normally what black is doing in a Sicilian, in an Eidorf. Doing like a B5, B4, kicking out the knight. It's a common theme I'm used to.
Yeah. Still, here I'm not so convinced because if white doesn't do anything, you're going to go d6 and you get to go to f5, where your knight is going to
I'm
be
slightly
very
worried
crazy.
though
So,
about H4, King F2. Yeah,
king f2, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, white's king is still a little bit exposed there. I don't know. If you get a knight to f5, I don't know if you're doing bad at all. But yeah, bishop e6 looks a little bit clumsy. It's not a great bishop. Uh, it's not mandatory to play g5 right now. Maybe you can go h4 and leave this knight here on f6 with nothing to do. And if he wants to knight e8, then so be it. White has everything under control, and he's still pushing his kingside pawns. This might be a little bit better. You don't get to play the knight to f5, and well, white is just bringing all his pieces. He might even think about bringing the queen to the king side, and yeah, now liking your chances as much as a few moves before. Uh, Actually, after rook e7, he played well. He played g6. You went to g6. Actually, the computer suggested a very strange move here, which I can't blame you for not playing because I wouldn't have played it. I don't think I would have gone for this. What do you think the computer suggested
I'm
here?
trying to remember.
Well,
I
you
mean,
run the
I looked at the game before, but
certainly a possibility.
I I mean, it seems kind of insane to take on G4. Uh,
Yeah, it might be too much material.
I don't know, maybe to go into E6 and open up the F file.
Yeah, that would be normal. Bishop e6 is another normal move as we were seeing, and maybe h4, having some more space on the king side makes sense.
Does it
Uh,
want to counter with something like G5?
yeah, that's what the computer
But we're
suggests.
losing a pawn, aren't we?
I don't. Well, knight c takes d5 is what the computer says, which
Oh,
is very crazy. If g takes f5, then g takes f4, and the pawn on d4 is in trouble. So you're not going to lose
oh.
material. Even you can make use of the g5, I guess. His triple pawns are not going to be that great either if he takes on f4. But yeah, knight c takes d5. This is not for humans to enter. I guess this is all very crazy. E4, I still don't like black's position here. Uh, your pieces are scattered all
Yeah,
over the
I'm
place. You don't
terrified of
like,
white center.
yeah, yeah, thing, and I don't really know what you're going to make of that. Well, the computer finds a maneuver borrowed from the Italian, the
I
Rui
guess
Lopez with
maybe
bishop
there's
a5 on
something with
b.
the H2 square. Maybe there's something here. I don't know. It's a little soft.
Yeah, but he's probably going to get to play e5 at the suitable moment.
Yeah, the boom boom. I don't
Your
know.
bishop is in trouble. Yeah, it
It's
might be too much.
it
Yeah,
looks
this
like
bishop
black's
is
minor pieces are a lot more fluid, and white's light squared bishop is kind of entombed a little
yeah,
bit. But yeah, but the center is really hard to get around.
yeah. It's true that that bishop on g2 isn't that great, and maybe what the computer values. Still, I really like uh, stockfish solution with bishop a5 followed by bishop b6, and suddenly you both your minor pieces are doing something great here against this pawn on d4. It wasn't an easy maneuver to spot, but
Yeah,
uh,
no.
no, not at all. It wasn't easy to get up to here in the calculations. G5 is just crazy. So I have nothing to say against Bishop G6. uh, but the situation changed a lot because he actually now has the initiative. So G4 should have been prevented. And uh, it's kind of an exception to the general rule we've been talking about so much. But actually king the pushes of pawns in front of the king requires stability in the center, and that's what this game shows. You have no real counterplay against his very well supported pawn center, so he can actually start pushing his king side in front of his own king, and well, you don't get a chance at throwing anything at White's monarch here. That's thanks to the stability of his central pawn. Um, Knight takes g6 immediately. Well, that's a relief, I guess. Um, were you relieved about knight takes g6? I don't see the necessity of taking
Um,
something right now.
actually, I remember now when I was going over the game with my opponent, he had his friend. His friend was looking at the game as well, and his friend was playing in the tournament. I'm not sure what he was rated. He was higher than us, but I don't know by how much. Maybe he was one section up, so maybe he was about 1800. I'm not sure, but he immediately didn't like knight takes g6. He said like immediately he's like, oh, you shouldn't have taken there, for white. Um, from my point of view at the time, I didn't mind it. Like I didn't think it was a terrible move for white, but at the same time, I didn't mind it. My bishop wasn't really doing a whole lot anyways, and his knight was kind of advanced, and I don't mind the double pawns because I think my pawn structure is still fine, and I'm taking towards the center.
Yeah, yeah. I think that player is right. There's no necessity of taking on G6. Actually, you can take. He can take whenever he wants.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This
That's the other
bishop
thing
on
we.
G6.
Yeah, that's sorry. That's the other thing that we all agreed upon is, um, yeah. I said there's no rush. You can take it later. You can always take it. Yeah, whenever, as you say, whenever you want. So, you could probably just work to improve your position and then take it at the right moment.
Yeah, actually, I'm not so sure about this at this point, but a typical problem of this bishop on G6 with the knight on F4 is that after H4, I'm sorry, he actually puts you in a difficult situation because, well, he's threatening to play G5 and H5, I'm sorry, and then chasing your bishop, trapping your bishop. And if you go H6, he gets to ruin your pawn structure a little bit. I don't know if this is advisable at this point for white. Maybe he can do better than this, but that's actually a typical problem with that bishop kind of trapped on g6. After h4, you have to make some sort of commitment with your pawn structure, and you have to let him ruin your pawns a bit. This might be actually playable for white. I don't know there is a better solution, but I really don't like this for black. uh, so, well, knight takes g6. H takes G6, Queen C2. Well, I guess it's natural. There might be alternative. I'm sorry, I wanted to ask you something. Let me go back a bit. Did you analyze G5 here instead of taking on G6? Because this is critical.
You mean in the during the game?
During the game or after?
I don't know. During the game, I don't think I did. No, and afterwards, if I did, it was just a cursory glance with the engine. I mean, it looks like definitely something I should have considered during the game. I'm not sure why I didn't. I think because if we just go back a couple moves, these were all kind of forcing moves, so I didn't really have much of a choice depending on on which way I went. Like I couldn't really avoid it is what I'm trying to say. So I mean, if I looked before I played Rook E7, but I didn't see it when I played Rook E7. But afterwards,
Okay.
I was only looking like one move ahead here because it was, you know what I mean.
Yeah, after G4, you just had to
Or
go
sorry,
back.
here you
So
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean G4 immediately. Yeah, I mean that would have
Still,
been a pain. And I think I'm just
there
dropping a
can there
pawn.
still can be a yeah. Uh, considering that, this might have been a good moment to think about Bishop E6. Maybe if
Yeah,
G5 is
yeah,
actually winning the pawn on D5, yeah, maybe Bishop E6 is better.
yeah.
Though you still have an answer to Bishop G6, G5. You have a way out here. Um, you can save yourself. If you go back with a knight, then you're going to drop that
What if
important pawn on D5.
I guess I can't play knight takes c3 because he's going to threaten the rook next move. Um, I wonder though. My calculation is so bad. I'm still wondering about bishop takes c3, takes, um, and takes, and takes. No, yeah, no. I've lost two minor pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it
just
doesn't
down.
work. Yeah. Whoops. Let me get. Whoops. I don't mean to do that. I'm trying to click here. Okay. If we don't move the knight back, I don't know. I
Still, you're right. Forcing lines first.
another no that won't that was not good. I mean, we could save the pawn, but at a cost. There is taking and then not taking again. Just take and then take the pawn. Um, Actually, we might win a pawn doing that, but it'll be ugly. But
Well, it's important to keep the material count. Here, you take the knight,
yeah,
takes a knight back. So
yeah,
we are,
I know. But then we're getting the
but
pawn, right?
if you get the pawn, then he's going to get your bishop, and he's going to be a piece up.
Oh God, yeah. Sorry.
Still, there's one more forcing move. You take on c3. He takes g, takes f6, and you still have a forcing move to consider.
Oh, maybe we can actually take on d7. We have the Zwischenzug Zug of taking on e3 after.
Yeah, bishop takes d2. You're threatening bishop takes e3. up to this point, you take on d2 and you're a bishop up. You're a bishop. If he takes your rook, he's
Yeah.
and it's changed up, but you take on e3 with
Yeah.
check, and then you take the knight on
Yeah.
f4. Yeah, you're actually winning material there. So after bishop takes c3, g takes f6 might not be the greatest move because well, he's actually losing a pawn. He might get some compensation out of this. G takes f6, bishop takes d2, but he can't take your rook because your bishop not only saves himself, but you end up two strong minor pieces for a rook
Mm-hmm.
and many pawns. uh, well, if he takes your bishop back, then now you're a pawn up, and yeah, your pawns might be a little bit ruined, but it's a pawn up. You are out of danger at the very least. So yeah, bishop takes it, saves the d5 pawn. He has to play e takes c probably. Then you can go back, or maybe you can play knight h5. Yeah, I don't know how good your position is, but it's not terrible. Goes to these seats at some point. Well, now you're dropping the pawn. You
Doesn't
have
feel
less
comfortable
fight for
though.
your.
I don't like playing in this position.
Yeah, it's not the greatest position, but uh, well, you didn't lose the pawn. That's important.
Yeah.
That's important to begin with. So yeah, you could save yourself
Mm.
after g5. Might have he might have been better off playing this instead of taking on g6. Still, I like that idea with h4, just uh, winning some more space. But took on g6, it took back, queen c2, a6 seems reasonable, I guess. So
Um, I had a reason. I think I may have been concerned of a3 and then knight b5.
out getting the pair of
Yeah,
bishops.
I think that's what I was concerned about.
Yeah. Still, this knight isn't doing that much on c6. Maybe you can consider rerouting this. It's still not clear where this knight is going, though. You want to play
What
c6 at
about
some point, of
a3
course.
here?
Still a3 is a problem. Well, now
Oh,
he
right.
doesn't get to
Yeah,
play.
now, okay, now the queen is guarding this square. Okay.
Yeah, it's still a bit messy because a3, bishop d6, g5 maybe. Uh, After knight h5, you always have this trick. If he goes knight takes d5, bishop takes h2 check, and you get your piece back. And it's a bit messy, which might actually be good for you because you're not in the greatest shape here. But yeah, it's strange. It's understandable though because this knight b5 might be a little bit bothersome after a3, bishop d6. But yeah, you might want to start thinking about what you're going to do with this piece. Uh, Another idea is to just play g5 and get rid of that not that nasty idea of playing g5 for white. I know it's kind of a committal move because of a3, and maybe you have to give up. Yeah, you might have to give up the bishop pair. But,
It was it
um,
and it wasn't. It was just. I was just really scared of having two knights against two bishops, like with nothing else. Like
okay.
there's no other minor pieces. I was really scared of that, even though his light squared bishop is pretty bad at the moment. But I guess even his other bishop isn't so fantastic. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was just really scared of being isolated to just knights against two bishops.
Yeah, it's a reasonable fear. It's difficult to give up the two bishops and play with two knights against two bishops. But well, there are some famous games where the knights prevail. One of them is Lasker Chigorin, I believe. Chigorin was known for being a great master at handling the knight in these kind of situations. And actually, the position was kind of similar to this. He kind of got his knights to very good posts, and the bishops
And doesn't
were weirdly shut out.
Vishy Anand, isn't he also a night lover?
Yeah, and he's a real danger with the knights, especially in blitz. He's very well known for finding all kind of strange maneuvers and doubles and, and forks. Yeah, yeah, he's very well known for that, and well, he's always been a monster at playing blitz
Yeah.
and blitz with the knights. It might be just too much for pretty much anyone. um, yeah, so those were the alternatives. A6 is kind of the problem with A6 is that again it kind of doesn't do much for your position other than defend that knight b5 idea. Uh, and it puts no pressure on white. He played rook e1, which I guess is fine. Rook e8, and yeah, now g5 might have been a good idea because now you don't even get to go back with the knight to e8. And I don't know if you consider that a problem or it was or if it was uh, something to worry about for you during the game.
Um, you keep mentioning it, and to be honest, like it's actually possible. I just never considered G5 the whole game
G5,
because I'm not really able to give you an answer of what I was considering of playing if he played G5. It's kind of weird to me that I would have completely overlooked that, but it's definitely possible.
it might have happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's good. This is good timing for G5. Now you don't get to play 98, those ideas with
Yeah.
96, and go to some place like H5. Then even F4 is a good idea because the knight is
Yeah.
so out of the game.
Yeah.
It's difficult to know how you're going to bring that knight back. Well, D5 is a real problem now. He might be making you take on C3. Yeah, I think this is mandatory now. And yeah, well, now this is good for him, especially because of this knight that is stranded there on the h5 square,
Yeah.
and there's no going back. Yeah, now he's going to play for c4 if he gets the chance at. So yeah, g5 might have been a good idea.
Yeah.
I see that uh, he had his doubts about also because he played a3, and yeah, you went back to this seat. Yeah, now g5 actually was strong move. G5, knight h5, and now
Wait. Sorry.
maybe not. Yeah,
This happened in the game?
yeah, bishop this seat.
No, but G5 happened?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay. Because I don't remember that. Okay.
No, yeah, he should have played g5 at this point because you're not going to get to defend d5. Maybe you both saw this, and now taking on d5 is answered by bishop takes a2.
No,
Could it
I
be
wasn't looking
that,
at that.
okay, maybe your opponent saw this and he wasn't convinced, but he doesn't need to take immediately. He
I
can
don't think
just
either
play
of
it.
us ever looked at G5. Don't ask me why. But because I remember I
Okay.
looked at the game with him after, and we spent a good time going over it, and no one ever mentioned G5. Which is
Okay.
which
Okay,
is really
so
weird because it's not like it's a hard move to see, and it was there for like 8 moves.
yeah.
Don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know why. we didn't consider it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe any of you weren't thinking of the fact that the pawn on d5 might be on the air because it's so well defended for much of the game that, yeah, that might be a reason why g5 just went off your radar. Um, Knight a4, well, he didn't see that. I mean, the computer really doesn't like. That's why g5 and f4, and you're dropping the pawn on d5. Well, now things start again. Actually, you played b6. It's understandable that you don't want him to play knight c5 just like that. And queen d3. This actually wasn't the greatest move. The knight on a4 is hanging in the air. What do you think you could have played now?
Well, first of all, I can't remember what I played. Um, just looking at knight b4. If he takes with the bishop, then I take back, and you have double pawns, and then I take the knight. So
Yeah,
yeah,
there are some intermediate moves to consider. For example, knight b4. He can take with both the pawn and
yeah,
the bishop. But let's say he takes with the bishop.
yeah.
Um,
And bishop
Knight
takes.
b4, bishop takes b4, bishop takes b4, and now instead of just taking on b4, I mean a takes b4, he might be able to sell his knight a little bit
Oh, I guess
for
he
a higher.
could. Yeah, counterattack. Maybe knight takes b6.
Yeah, yeah, that's a desperado move there.
Yeah.
The knight was lost anyway, so knight takes b6 kind of inflicts some damage first. And yeah, it's not only the fact that you're losing a pawn there, which you are. The problem is also that your pawn on a6 is going to be very weak on the open file. So, and the pawn on d5 is also going to be a little bit loose. I guess that after so bishop takes, knight takes is good intermediate move. And now you're pawn down, and you're going to suffer here. The pawn on a6 is loose. This pawn on d5 is isolated by definition. And yeah, you have no compensation for that pawn, I guess. Um, but well, you said knight b4, and there are ideas like that floating here. There's another one, a stronger one, stronger, which actually got to play in the game.
Um, yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm
Well,
also
apart
I'm
from
also
going
still
to
sick, so my calculation is extra bad. But um, I was looking at all discoveries, but none of them seem to work.
Well, in the game, you had a particular idea. You played a5, and it seemed, well, actually, this is what followed. You then took on d4, and after he played queen takes d4, you went for bishop e5, hitting the
Oh, I
queen,
remember now. I
and yeah,
remember this. Oh,
uh,
oh yeah, that was
yeah,
Oh,
and
this
that's
was.
the reason why.
Oh, and then I blundered with the stupidest
Yeah,
blunder ever, which I just the funny thing is, which we'll see in a couple of moves from now. Um, when we were looking at the game, I told you there was his friend that was watching who is a few hundred points higher than us, and he also didn't until afterwards. He didn't think anything was wrong. It's a very easy mistake to make at our level. Well, on on the blunder that I made. I think it's a very easy thing to lose track of what was captured. But that's too bad because this was a good pivotal point in the game, I think. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that now. Yeah.
yeah. This was played a5 with the idea of taking on d4, and after queen takes d4, bishop e5,
Yeah, and
which wasn't very long.
I was very close to playing f5, which I know the computer strongly prefers, but I kept going between them, and it was 50-50. I could have flipped a coin on which one to go with, and I ended up going with bishop e5, but I should have spent more time on that because I still had lots of time, and it was such a pivotal point, and this is where things would turn around for me. That was one of my mistakes. Was thinking not dedicating enough time to the move between bishop e5 and f5.
Yeah, actually, that resource of playing c5 makes knight
Oh,
takes
sorry,
d4
c5. Yeah.
possible right now. Yeah, that c5 idea actually makes this possible at this point. Knight takes d. Now it has
I
not
just
such a
thought
good
it
answer.
was possibly a bit messy. If queen takes a5, a6.
Queen takes a6. Still, his pieces are starting to look very funny.
Yeah. Okay.
You can go to b3 maybe. Oh no, you have knight c2 there.
Actually, he might be in
Knight
trouble
c2,
if b5
b5. The
and then his
queen is
queen. Oh no,
trapped.
I was sorry. I was thinking these rooks were on the same file. I was thinking
Yeah,
his
you
queen
still
might be
don't
trapped.
have
Right.
rook. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you're winning material after knight c2. I mean, queen takes a6, knight c2. Yeah, the pawn on e3 seems to be falling. Not to mention that the queen on a6 and the knight on a4 are not great. Uh,
Hello.
oh,
Oh.
what's going on?
Oh well, I don't. It shows you're not in the study anymore. You might have
Oh,
got disconnected from Lichess. Oh, also your video froze. Uh-oh.
hello?
Hello? I can hear you, but your video has froze and you're not on Lichess. Okay, you're back on Lichess,
Hello.
but your video froze. Let me gonna try to reconnect here, guys. Just give a second while we'll try to connect again. I'm sick. Okay. It looks like we
Okay.
Okay, we're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're working. Yeah,
Yeah,
here.
everything's good.
Okay, yeah, I guess you have knight c2 here. He's going to drop some material. Um, yeah, you're going to win that pawn on e3, and his pieces are all scattered uh, around the board. So yeah, this doesn't look good for him. Uh, yeah, knight takes d4 here was an opportunity. If he takes with the pawn, then queen takes a4, and you're winning pawn for free. So queen takes d4, defending that knight on a4 temporarily. And yeah, you might have seen during the game that bishop e5 he still had queen b4, which is true, but you have c5, and he has no way of keeping in touch with that knight. What do you think White can play here? He still has a resource,
Well, first
which
of all, I'm
isn't
curious
great,
about
but
what you said previously. If bishop e5, queen here, I must have had an answer for this. I think because I thought
the problem is that he's going to play queen b3, and then you can't threaten that queen anymore, I guess.
I thought this was for sure. I'd pick up the knight here, and I thought when I analyzed the game, computer said this was okay, but it wasn't as good as f5. I thought it said that black was still slightly better here when I looked at it. Did did white simply
Yeah, you
have?
have to recover the piece though.
I know, but that's why I'm wondering. Did I does queen b4 simply work? Did I somehow overlook queen b4?
You played a5 in the game. You played a5 before
Right,
going
right,
for
yeah, okay,
yeah. So
okay,
you saw the line.
okay,
It
yeah.
was
I was
clear that you
wondering.
saw
I'm
the line.
like, did I miss that? Okay. Right, yeah.
And this is a variation. I mean, you had the opportunity to play knight takes d4
Right
right
away,
away
yeah.
without
Okay,
inserting
yeah.
a
Then
knight.
then it has to be f5, right?
Yeah, and after c5 here,
c5.
yeah, well, he still has this resource of taking on b6 first. Uh, but now you can just play, I don't know, queen c6, and
Can't I
he has to
just? Can't
go
I
back.
just? But
Yeah.
can't I just take his queen? I'll be out material there
Um,
because I'll take his knight.
well,
Oh wait. Oh, I sacked
you're,
my I sacked
you're
my
going to
knight.
be a
Yeah,
pound.
right.
Yeah, you're going
Yeah,
to be a pound down.
yeah.
Unfortunately, after c takes d, knight takes d7, you'll love to play d takes e3, hitting both pieces, but he takes with check,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. Uh, so yeah, after knight takes, he doesn't lose a pawn.
Wait. I'm just looking at. Oh, it won't work because he's got queen f5. I was just looking at here, and then take, but it doesn't work because he's got
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
yeah, you still have to go towards that knight,
Yeah.
and you can compromise your bishop. Uh, so yeah, queen c6, you're going to recover the knight. He has to go back probably, and well, material-wise, we are. It's a break-even situation. Your pieces are so well prepared here for pretty much anything. You're hitting on this pawn on b2, which isn't that easy to defend because, for example, bishop c3, he has to count on c4, and the pawn on e3 is in a lot of trouble. And c4 is coming. C4, bishop c5. He's actually going to have a lot of trouble defending both pawns if he gets to do it at all. Um, and now I can say that his king is going to suffer a little bit in the diagonal, and his bishops are not that great as you mentioned before. So this was good for you. Knight takes d4 immediately actually worked. You're not winning material right away, but he's left with a lot of weak pawns, and you have a lot of threats at the end of the line. It wasn't that easy to see, but um, and it was also a good way of unraveling because you don't have these clumsy knight on c6 anymore, and all your pieces get very active. That knight a4 of his was a little bit strange, and it leaves this tactical weakness here that you can try to
Yeah.
punish. a5, well, this kind of gives him some time, buying some time here to bring the knight back at least, but he went for h3. It's very strange looking, just loosening up all the dark squares. And now you play knight takes. Queen takes. Still c5 is a possibility, which is very similar to what we saw, but you played bishop e5.
Yeah. The computer really likes c5 here.
Yeah, the problem is that he made a good move here. He played knight.
Oh yeah, I knew that was coming. Like 100%. It's the only move. But
not to lose.
The problem is again I made the move too quickly, which is not something I normally do. Like normally, I take my time. I don't get overly excited. But yeah, I don't know. It was I screwed up and I played too quickly here, and I took the queen.
Oh yeah, now bishop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you lost track of the material count here. What happened?
I think first and foremost, I didn't spend enough time.
Oh, okay.
My score sheet it's over there, but I forget. I don't like. I think I maybe spent like at the very most 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah, and you had already given up a piece, and it's easy to lose sight of that if you don't put enough time into this position.
Yeah, I don't know. This was just stupid. Well, I probably forgot that I sacked a piece. That's probably what happened. And I wasn't.
Yeah, you lost track of that.
Yeah, and then I just thought that the board is equal here, and and then I thought I can give a check, get an extra pawn out of it. But my biggest error was just moving too quickly. I should have recomposed myself and took a deep breath and reevaluated things. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, when there's a lot of piece contact, that's a good idea.
And you know what? I didn't even realize this until a few moves later. I thought everything was good. I thought I was completely winning, and then I start counting the pieces on the board. I'm like, whoa! I'm like, what the hell? I had no idea what happened. I had no idea what happened.
Did I lose that?
Yeah, I was in shock because it it took a few moves to realize it.
Yeah, that happens. It's an awful feeling.
And I remember the ending to this game too. That you probably were in shock. What happened?
Yeah, it's very funny. I don't think I ever saved the game. I'm kind of jealous. I want to save a game like this.
Yeah. So we have we've got a bunch of people watching this stream now. Anyone that's still watching this stream, I know that none of you have seen only one of you have seen my game so far, but keep watching because yeah, just watch the whole game because something really interesting happens in the end game.
So, well, here you can play queen b5. You don't even have to give up the pawn. Well, I guess you can take on b6, and he's going to take back. But yeah, you're losing material here. The pawn a5 is also loose. But it's unnecessary. There's a better move here. Instead of taking on b6 right away, what would you play?
Sorry, say that again.
Yeah. Instead of taking back on b6 and c takes b6, what would you play here? as black.
Instead of taking on b6, you're saying?
Yeah, and taking on d4, which is bad.
Well, the interesting thing is White's knight doesn't. I mean, he only has one square to go to, but it's also a little bit suspect. I'm wondering if I can somehow capitalize on that, like keeping the threats in place. I'm just looking at something like Queen b5. His queen isn't covering this square, and it can't go to these squares to defend his knight. So I think maybe Queen b5. White still has two pieces under attack.
Yeah, and you don't have to give away another pawn. This is the best. This is the easiest for you. And well, if you get to play queen takes b6 and c5, then you're going great. He probably is going to go here. Queen takes b6, and well, if he takes on a5, you take back on b2. Yeah, you're not losing any pawns. So yeah, queen b5 is the easiest. You don't have to give up all your queenside pawns.
The problem is,
Yeah,
in my mind, I thought this was all worked out. I thought, okay, I take his queen. I thought for some reason, I thought I was up a piece. Even though I'm down a piece.
yeah, you take and you take on b2 and everything's fine, but your piece down. Oh, you took on e3, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is what the most surprising here because
Yeah.
it's a simplified position. So when I first saw the game, I thought that you had lost this.
Yeah, and there was lots of time left too. It wasn't a time scramble. So yeah, so people that are watching the stream right now, I'm black here, and this is game 1 of the BC Open, and I'm feeling pretty terrible here, and I'm so close to resigning. You know, I don't want to insult my opponent, and you know, I don't need to drag it out. You know, I can rest before round 2. I was so close to resigning. Normally, I would resign here. The reason I didn't is, well, I do have a passed pawn, and I could give it a bit of support. I mean, I was so close to resigning. I just thought I would play a couple more moves just to see what happens. You never know. But plus, my opponent was rated 1,000. He played quite well he played quite well the whole game. He's still winning. But he's rated 1,000. I thought, give it a couple more moves, see what happens.
Yeah, and it's a good idea because you actually have nothing to lose, so you can wait and see if he does some crazy stuff, which he did before a takes b, rook b2. Well, up to this point, he even played very well. Now, well, f4. Interesting because he wants you to play rook takes b4, rook takes c7, and then he's going to come with his bishop to d5. But your pawn is still live and kicking. I would have gone for this pawn as quickly as I could. D4, c7, and you took on b4. And yeah, you took on b4. And now the easiest is, well, taking care of this.
Yeah, I think he just brings in his king. Like, this is the only thing I have going for me. I think he can just bring in his king. I thought this is very simple for White to defend.
It's easy to contain. He can even let you advance that pawn and play bishop f3. There's no real danger here. But well, he went for bishop d5. He's still winning, but he might
I knew this was coming. Yeah, but I'm just gonna keep pushing that pawn. It's the only thing I've got going. So I knew that he was going to play bishop e5 or bishop d5.
Well, now this is the critical moment of the game. Yeah, king f2, it's curtains. The pawn is very easily stopped. D2, king e2, the pawn is going nowhere, and g6, it's falling anyway. But well, he decided it was time to take immediately. And now you also kind of lost an opportunity here. What do you think you should play?
Well, first of all, I can't remember what I think. I pushed the pawn. I think I played d2.
Yeah, but that actually gave him an extra option.
I wonder if you're thinking just rook b8 right away or rook b1.
Rook b1. Yeah, that's correct because you want him to give up his rook for the pawn because, for example, let's say he gets to play bishop takes d3, rook takes d3. He can just trade this bishop for this pawn. He's going to be winning very easily because he's pawns up on the king side.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a 3 versus 1. So you can't let him give up his bishop. It's gotten to that point. You can't even let him give up his bishop for your pawn
yeah,
because you're lost in the
yeah.
endgame. Uh, and D2 actually gives him the opportunity to do that. Well, it wasn't that easy. He still has to go rook d7 and where he puts a stop to the pawn, and after rook b2, for example, he can go king f1, and then he's going to go king e2, and he's avoiding all those discoveries. And now you don't get to play rook b1, and that's the problem. Instead, if you play rook b1 check and f2, now you get to play d2, and you're actually threatening to play d1, making a queen there. And
What do you think about that queen versus rook and bishop against? What do you think of who's better there?
Uh, well, white should be the only one with a chance to win this. I'm a little bit worried about the fact. I don't know. Yeah, that well, white is
Might be
out
hard to
of.
avoid perpets, maybe.
Uh, I'm not so certain you can avoid perpetual here. You have to coordinate your bishop and rook. You have to avoid any kind of forks and losing the rook, for example. You can do that here. I guess you can play rook c8, king e7, for example, and bishop f5. Now your pieces are defended, but he's going to give you a perpetual. I don't think you can escape
Hmm.
here. Yeah, if you want to go to h4, he has queen e1 check, for example, king g3, uh, queen e1, or queen e3, and he's winning this pawn. And if he wins the pawn f4, then
Hmm.
you're not getting to hide anywhere. So yeah, I don't think you can win this white. You don't have the time to coordinate your rook and your bishop, I guess. Uh, but yeah, this was very instructive, a very instructive moment. You need. I'm sorry, what happened here? Well, I went. I'm sorry. Yeah. D2 was the mistake. With rook b1, king f2, d2, you're forcing him to give up his rook. And rook against these 3 pawns, rook and pawn against this bishop and 3 pawns, it should be a draw. I guess you, yeah, you get to make a draw there. Yeah, rook d7 might be the only move. What happens after bishop c2, for example? What do you play here?
I'm trying to avoid rook versus rook. wondering if I could play rook c1.
Yeah, that's the way. Rook c1. And now you're threatening rook c2. So that's a big threat. And after something like king e2, for example, now you have a very nice
Well,
risk.
I think I just queen.
Yeah, now you queen and you get his rook.
Yeah.
And not going to win this. You're going to go rook c3
But
probably and cut his
this
king.
is very similar to what happened, though.
Yeah, but he got an extra opportunity here. Oh, I'm sorry. King f8, bishop takes it, and now you play d2. And now
I guess because
he
he's
had the
got
opportunity
this.
to play rook
Yeah.
f7.
Yeah.
And now you don't get to play rook b1
Yeah.
and
I was playing a little bit reckless here slightly because I had nothing to
I'm sorry.
lose. I had nothing to lose, so I was kind of moving. Oh, hello? Uh-oh.
Hello, my Discord is crashing.
Yeah.
Uh, hello.
Okay, yeah, I can't see your video. Oh, there we go. You're back. You're back. Oh, you're frozen again. Hang on, guys. I'm going to leave the call. Go back here. I guess I'll put this while waiting. Ooh. Uh-oh. There we go. Hello?
We are back. Yeah.
Okay, we're back.
We are back.
Okay, oh, so the what happened to the game setting? Oh, I can only go backwards, not forwards.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, this was a critical mistake. Then bishop takes g6. Unexpectedly, you have this rook b1 check followed by d2.
Yeah, I was going to say I was playing a little bit reckless here because I thought this was very easy for if white put in a proper thought. I thought it was very easy to defend. So I was playing kind of quick because he was matching my speed. So and that's how I got him to make a lot of mistakes at the end. I know it's not a good thing to do, but I was scared if he took the time to really think about it, it's very easy for him to just stop my threats. So I was I was kind of baiting him into playing quicker than he. Yeah.
Yeah. Still, chess is just great. There are so many resources. I mean, you look at this position and the first impression is that you're utterly lost, but then you get this rook b1 followed by d2, and so all of a sudden he doesn't get to give up his bishop for your pawn. And it's incredible that you have that resource.
Yeah, that would have been better.
After d2, bishop c2 is actually a blunder. And now you played a very nice played rook b1 check.
Yeah.
And you actually get to a position that we already saw. Well, rook d7 is what the computer suggests. Yeah, it's a better try, I guess, but I don't think this is possible to win.
No?
Or maybe
It looks way better. What's wrong with this?
King e2. I was thinking about 3.
Can't he just maybe,
pushing h4, rook g3, if g5 takes. Yeah, you can defend the pawn f4, for example, h4, rook g3. I'm not so certain about rook g3 though. I was thinking along these lines, maybe rook h3. Yeah, the idea is that if white plays h5, rook g3, and we want to get this pawn. That's probably going to be a draw, though.
almost wondering about rook h7.
Yeah, this is another idea. Yeah. Maybe we give a check.
Yeah,
Just
come here.
how are we doing here? Rook h5, king 7.
Yeah, it's a little scary to leave the rook, right? Away from this pawn, but
Yeah, you might need to keep moving your king around. And maybe you have some chances of. If you get to give this pawn for one of the pawns on the king side, you're going to be fine. It's going to be a draw. This 2 versus 1, and with rooks on the board, it's just not possible to win. You're going to get some kind of feel opposite. But he might have something better along the way. Still, this rook d7 is his only hope for. Rook c1, yeah, rook d7 is the only try. It might be good enough. Like I didn't thoroughly go. I didn't go this game so thoroughly. I thought that this was kind of forced draw, but I'm not so sure here. Maybe White has to keep all his pawns defended, like so he can play f5, for example, and all the 3 pawns are defending, and he can take care of this. But I'm not so sure about that.
oh, that's dirty. Yeah.
He has to go king d1.
Yeah, but that's dirty there.
Let's try.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can set his king free. So if there's a win for white, it's not trivial at all. If you get to give this pawn for the pawn on h3, for example, it's a. I don't know how he's going to get his rook to actually do something about that pawn on d2. And when white starts moving his pawns, they get increasingly weaker, so you can start going after them. It might be a draw. I'm not certain, but it looks like you have a very good opportunity of giving up your passed pawns for one of his pawns on the king side. So it might be enough. Takes. Well, maybe the best approach is bringing your king forward. This could be the best. It's certainly scary, but you can't move the that easily. Yeah, this might be a better approach. Still not sure though. King e8, have to move the rook somewhere. Not d3 because c3, and white is in trouble. But rook d5. Yeah, I'm really not certain of what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but this might be the best win try for white. Yeah, yeah. Well, either way, he had to go for this if he wanted to keep trying. But King E2, well, if there was some more
So here, I
material
mean,
on the wall, you might.
I thought so here I thought this is a draw. Like I felt pretty confident it's a draw, but I had to be careful. My goal was all I had to do was trade the rook for these two pawns. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was my goal. I thought, and normally that would be hard to do, if not impossible. But I do have this f pawn still, so I thought, you know, I've got the rook and the f pawn and my king. I thought I must be able to, at some point, be able to trade it for these two pawns, and then that'll be a draw as long as I keep the king properly placed. So I felt pretty confident that I could draw here, but I had to be careful because White was giving me a good battle here.
Yeah. Still, your rook is very active, and it's not easy to advance his king. You're cutting him on the third rank, and if you stand still, I don't think he can never pass. I don't know about sending the rook to the last rank because on a3, on c3, maybe you can go king h6, king h7, king g6, and it's difficult to suggest a plan for white. So you still keep him. Uh, yeah, you still keep making threats against those pawns, and he can just advance. Yeah, this is good for you. You might have been feeling optimistic here. You
No,
might,
I knew it had to have been a draw. Yeah,
yeah. Now you keep, yeah.
yeah, and then yeah. Ugh.
That that must have felt like a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing for me was from this position. I thought like I never would. Whoops! Oh, I can't go forward. Can you just go forward?
Oh
Maybe
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, 6 moves or so. I went back too far. Yeah, kind of around here, like or even before, but yeah, like yeah, something like this. I thought like, wow, there's no way, like, there's no chance at all. But yeah, I can't believe I drew from here. So it's a good reminder at my level to not resign too early, I guess.
Yeah, his best practical idea should be to deal with this pawn first. He has to deal with the passed pawn, and then the rest might be much more easier. I guess that he played well up to here. I don't know. I'll probably play just to get that pawn d5.
Yeah,
Rook takes c7 and rook d7, and I won't even think
yeah,
about that anymore. Yeah, he kept pushing. He kept pushing your pawn forward,
yeah,
and kind of depends on concrete calculation. That doesn't make any kind of sense if you have one more piece on
yeah,
your pawn. But yeah, well, it was a strange but interesting fight.
yeah.
And well, we still have a lot of games to see. We're going to take a look at the one with the Scandinavian at start,
Yep.
which I thought was very interesting from the
And
very
that is the youngest.
beginning.
That's a new record for the youngest player. It's close with Erwin Mark. He was like the 7-year-old I played, but this kid is maybe younger. He might be like 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's tiny. He's the tiniest little kid. It's
He
amazing.
plays very well.
I know, and the guy I just played was a
Never,
was a
yeah.
thousand. Like this game, the guy was only rated 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
never
we've got
guessed
five
that
more
he
games that
was
we
a
can
6 year.
look at in the future. So I won't
Yeah.
spoil it for the for the people that haven't heard the results from my tournament yet. Um, But yeah, thanks for going over that game with me. There were definitely a lot of key points in that game where I could have improved and reconsidered. Hopefully next week.
The main problems were tactical because you were doing fine for most of the game. You had good positions throughout this game and in general, but maybe there were some tactical problems. But yeah, it might be due to a lot of things. You said, for example, that at some key points in this game you played a little bit. Yeah, maybe that's something to think about.
Yeah. So my next tournament is on April 10th. So I've got, what is that? 6 weeks? Maybe longer than that. I guess I've got almost
plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah, maybe I've got like 7 weeks or so. But the problem is I'll be playing in the under 1700 section, which is
well, that's better. That's better actually. You're going to get
it's not though. It's a 500 point gap because the next section down is under 1200. So there's still going to be a lot of underrated people. Yeah. But yeah, it does give me a chance to increase the rating though, right? Because right now I have no chance.
In that too, it's going to be very difficult. I see that you're playing against 1,000 players. It's too tough. You pretty much have to win every game you play.
Yeah, and then you only get a few points if you even then, right? But yeah, if you draw one game and then you shoot down.
It's uncomfortable at the very least.
But there is potential. So in this tournament, this upcoming tournament, I'm playing in the under 1700 section, but within that section, there's 2 prize categories. There's the under 1700 and then there's an under 1400. So and and they pay out up to 3 places and there's a trophy as well. So it's possible I could do well in the under 1400. So there's still something to shoot for. And that's
for 2 prices. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if they do that. You would think they should. If you are eligible, if maybe they do. I'm not sure. Would you get 2 trophies as well? I don't know. I did. I started off okay last year in this tournament. I was 4 out of 5, and then I lost to a guy who's 1700 now, and I put the game in Lichess. He played a perfect game, no inaccuracies even, and I played very well too. I had maybe 1 inaccuracy, and I lost, and the only move. The only move was an incredibly hard move to find. So overall, I played pretty well, but I won't keep you any longer. Thanks again. Next week we can look over this game against Nicholas Peicheng, hopefully I recover some more so I'm not coughing so much. And I'm going to start playing online again now. I haven't played in about, I don't know, like 12 days or something. So been itching to play.
You're back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks again. And I will see you next week.
I hope you get better.
Okay. Thank you.